There's pros and cons to island living is what I tell people. And for me, the easygoing, laid back feel of it and me not having any anxiety about working or finding something to eat or paying a bill, that anxiety doesn't happen for me.
This is Debbie, and welcome to another episode of The Offbeat Life, where I speak to inspiring individuals who ditched the norm to become location independent. We'll learn how to create sustainable laptop lifestyles from the experts that will help us achieve freedom from our 9 to 5. Hey friend, are you looking to land a remote gig ASAP? Well, did you know that we not only have a ton of online jobs you can apply to on our site, but now we are also sending them straight to your inbox. I'm happy to announce that we will be sending our email subscribers legit online jobs every Wednesday. We have done hours of research, so you don't have to. If you want to be the first one to hear about the remote gigs we find, go to theoffbeatlife.com to subscribe. On this episode, I speak with Anquanette, who is a food and travel entrepreneur, freelance writer, blogger, and social media influencer who shares the beauty of the Caribbean culture and food. Oftentimes, when stories are told about Caribbean culture, it is through the perspective of storytellers from outside the region. Born and raised in St Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, Anquanette uses her blog, cruisinfoodie.com, to share her experiences in a way that is authentically Caribbean. So listen on to find out how Anquanette has been able to become a Caribbean travel entrepreneur. Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. I am really excited for my guest today. I'm here with Anquanette. Hey, how are you?
Hello. Hey, Debbie. Hey, everyone.
Thank you for doing this. We met the beginning of this year when I was in St. Croix. We met for not even an hour, for a few minutes, but I loved you so much. I knew I needed to keep in touch with you.
The love was mutual.
It was. And you have this aura about you that I was just like, okay. I was so sad, Anquanette, that I met you the last night I was there. Because I would have reached out to you every day, be like, I need to hang out with you.
Yeah. And I would have been like, let's go. What do you want to do? You want to go on a hike? You want to go drinking? You want to go drink with some pigs? What do you want to do? We can do it.
Oh my God. I know. And that's you. That's your personality. That's why I love it. So I want to share you with everybody and what you do, because you're doing something so unique for your island, right? And also what you do is really incredible. So can you tell us more about you and why you live an offbeat life?
Of course. I am Anquanette Gaspard, born and raised in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So I was a Caribbean girl. I was a West Indian. I have a little dialect. I have my accent that I'll talk with. So I'm going to talk in it the whole time because they probably won't understand me for most of it. So I don't clean it up, right? But I was, growing up here in the Caribbean, people always tell you that your parents will say they want you to be a doctor, an engineer, a nurse. You have to have some sort of, big role, if you will, or a big career. And I kind of started on that path where I got my MBA. I got my degree, my undergrad in finance and stuff. I worked for a Fortune 500 company and I absolutely hated it. It just was not what I enjoyed. It wasn't what I expected it to be. I realized that I was too much of a free spirit, too much opinionated for corporate America, and we just were not meshing. And that's what kind of led me to live the offbeat life. And believe it or not, I got fired from a job, which was my first job that I was ever fired from. And that was I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to continue making someone else's dream come true. And that was the defining moment for me in 2015. And that was the year that I moved to Spain in October of 2015, and I lived abroad for some time. And when I came back, I decided that I would start a food tour business here on St. Croix, which is where I'm from. The writing was just something I always did. Being a freelance writer, writing about food and travel was something I was always passionate about. Then I learned that you can make money doing it. So, okay, you don't have to tell me twice. And that's been it. And I've been, doing social media and learning social media marketing and, really fine tuning that. And right now I'm really getting into video editing. It's, I'm doing Vlogmas for the month of December, and I've been editing all the videos and just getting much better at it than I was before. People always tell me that I'm great on camera, and, just based on you saying how you love my aura and everything, if I can, transpose that to camera, then I figure that that would be a great opportunity for me. And this is allowing me to kind of fine tune that skill, if you will.
I mean, your audio wise, like your energy already, it's incredible, right? Because you just have this thing about your voice where I get super excited. But if you ever meet Anquanette in person, it's like 1,000 times more. Like it's pretty crazy.
It's good energy. It's that Caribbean energy. That's what that is.
It's true. And from the moment you see Anquanette until the moment you leave, like she has this huge smile on her face. That's why
gosh.
I'm not surprised that the tour that you do is super popular because of you. Like it's like the next time, okay, once COVID is done, I need to go back to St. Croix and I need to take your tour. Seriously.
So in case people are wondering what the tour is, so as I mentioned, I have a walking food tour company. It's called Virgin Island Food Tours. And the first tour product is called Taste of Twin City Food Tour. Twin City is the nickname for St. Croix. And I take guests to 6 local restaurants in the downtown Christiansted area, which is one of the main towns or the main cities. And they're basically eating their way through St. Croix in the downtown Christiansted area, but learning our history and our architecture, our culture, and of course, learning about us through our food and seeing how we're, so intertwined. And so, we're this melting pot of cultures here on St. Croix. And that really shines through the tour. And then you have me, and I'm so excited and passionate about it because this is home. And a lot of times I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm just sharing this place that I love so much with people who are visiting here, who took a chance or made a commitment or made a plan to come to St. Croix. And that in and of itself just speaks volumes to me. So I'm always excited to just share St. Croix with someone who, thought that we were a cool place to come and visit. And I just want to tell them, you made a good choice and this is why.
I was so surprised by how many expats who were living in St. Croix. Mm-hmm. It was pretty incredible. Like, did this just happen recently? Because there's a lot of expats, right? Living there now.
It is. It's something that has probably blown up, I want to say post-hurricanes, believe it or not. So we had the major hurricanes in 2017, Hurricane Irma and Maria. We were spared of Irma here on St. Croix, but Maria did hit us. And we were just suffering for a long time, just having to deal with the repercussions of having a Category 5, this catastrophic storm. We've never experienced a storm with such high winds, 175 mile per hour winds that we sustained for over 6 hours. And there was just so much damage here. And I think that it was so cheap to travel here. The opportunities were pretty much endless, if you will. If you're a person who, wherever you were, you just weren't feeling it, it's, all right, I'm going to come to St. Croix and I'll see what happens. Whether it's I'm working at a restaurant or working on a boat or whatever it is that they might want to do, or they might have where they're living an offbeat life as well, where they can do social media management or whatever it is that they might do in photography, and they can do it from wherever they are. And they just decided that St. Croix is a place that they're going to want to do that for.
For you, Anquanette, what made you decide to go back to St. Croix? Because you traveled the world, you worked for a Fortune 500 company. What really pulled you back to your roots?
I always wanted to move back home. I never not wanted to move back home. That was always going to be the plan, one way or the other. I just knew that when I moved back home, I didn't want to work for anybody. That was it. And I didn't know what business I would be able to do to work for myself that would, be profitable. I didn't know what that would look like. And when I was finished in Spain with my, the program that I was doing, learning Spanish while I was over there, I was in London for some time with my friend because she was working for the embassy. And she said, just come on over. I know how much you love traveling. And whenever you want to come, you have a room, a bathroom, you're good. You have your own space. And again, you don't have to tell me twice. So I went and we were there one night sitting in her flat and just talking. She's also from home, also from St. Croix. We went to high school and junior high school together. And we're just like, what are some businesses that we need on St. Croix? And we were running through the list of all these different things. The interesting thing about it is that St. Croix is such a small place. It's 84 square miles. And even after you've left, you're still so very connected to home. So you know about what's going on, what's working, what's not working, what people feel about the people who are in politics. Like you still are so connected. So that's why I was still able to have that conversation with her. And that's how I decided on the food tour, because I was working as a food tour guide in Miami prior to going to Spain. And I would always say, man, this would be such a great activity to have on St. Croix because our food is so great and no one is highlighting it in this way. I wonder how, like, when someone would bring something like this to here. That's what I would say. And, I'm in London and we're chatting. I said, I guess I'm the one who's going to bring it to St. Croix. And and that's kind of how it came to be. That's how I was able to determine the what to bring me back home. I always had the why because I'm home, and home is where my heart is. It's where I enjoy. It's where I feel most at peace. It's where I just kind of get grounded and become one with myself once again. That's what home does for me. So it was never a question as to why I wanted to move back home. It was more of what are you going to do and how are you going to do it?
Yeah. And I can understand why it pulled you. I mean, I'm not from there. I didn't grow up. I was only there for like less than a week. I was working when I was there. But there's something really special about that island. And, especially with someone like you who's a local there, and also just the beauty of that island was just so beautiful, and I don't think I hear a lot of people say they go to St. Croix, and it's I don't know, for me it's still a little bit of like a hidden gem, so
it is very much that way. And it's interesting that you mentioned we have so many expats that are here, and trust me, I'm always happy when people discover St. Croix. But at the same time, I'm kind of wanting it to stay under wraps.
Yeah.
Because the minute it gets too busy and crowded, the culture and the place starts to change.
Yep.
And if you were to go to St. Thomas or St. John, you will notice that immediately. People who visit St. Croix, they'll always say, man, it really feels like an island over here. Obviously, we know St. Thomas and St. John are islands. They're bodies of land completely surrounded by water. But they don't get to feel the local energy like what you described. But they say when they come to St. Croix, they definitely feel it. They feel like they could move here and they could fall in line and they would be good. And I feel that if we get too much people coming and visiting and wanting to stay and more local people leaving for more opportunities, then that's when we're going to see that shift. And that's also part of the reason why I'm so adamant about moving back home and staying home and living here and trying to get other people who are from home, who are living away, to come back home because of that reason.
I was just thinking about it when you were talking, Anquanette, and I was like, why do I feel such a connection with you, even though I just met you for like an hour? And you know what I think it is because I also came from an island. I came from the Philippines, and I feel like a lot of Filipinos are like you.
Yeah.
They're like just very happy. We live in an island, so it's like there's really not much you can complain about if you have like good food, good people, you have sun, you have the beach. Like obviously you can complain about you have rum. So I'm like, you know what? I always feel like it's someone like you, Anquanette. It's like you don't look at things as like setbacks, right? Because obviously you've had setbacks. You got fired from a job, like you're trying to find yourself, but it's always going back to like, what do I have and what am I grateful for? And I feel like that's the type of person you are. That's why like you're always so happy and super positive. And
I try. Don't get me wrong. There are days when I'm just like, oh my God. If I fall into one more pothole, I'm going to go crazy. And there are quirks about island living that everybody can't take. Like island living isn't for everybody. We do things extremely slow. For instance, yesterday I went to the bank and I dreaded go. I said, "Oh my god, I don't want to go," but I had to cash this check, and the only way it wouldn't accept the mobile deposit, so I had to go into the bank. It took me 14 minutes in the bank drive-through.
Oh my gosh.
4-0. Now, my thought was, you might be saying, well, it might have been faster to go inside. Nope, because when I got there, remember there's COVID, they only allow X amount of people in the bank at one time. And when I pulled up, there were already 7 people in a line outside. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to sit in my car in the air conditioning, and however long it takes, at least I'll be cool. And that was the happy, it's kind of, okay, it's a bad situation, but what's the best of the worst in a sense? So it's better for me to sit down in my car in the AC and wait than to stand outside in the hot sun and wait.
And it's so funny because when I went back to the Philippines like a few years ago, living in New York, everything is fast paced. And I would see people taking naps in the middle of the day. And I'm like, come on, what are we doing? Let's go somewhere. Let's do something. And everyone was like, you need to. Yeah, they were like, take a nap. There's a hammock. Go to sleep. I'm like, what? They were like, yeah, this is like when the sun is at its hottest. So we don't do anything. Like you need to chill out. And I was really bothered by that the first week. Once the second week hit, I was like, why haven't I been doing this forever? And then I was there for a month and I had to go back to New York. And I was like, what the hell? I don't like this.
You go. You're spoiled. That was it. That was it, Debbie. And
it's true.
It's hard. It's not that it's hard. Like adopting an island lifestyle, it really only works here. If you were to go elsewhere, you would be swallowed up and swallowed up alive. And that's, again, it's a blessing. There's pros and cons to island living is what I tell people. And for me, the easygoing, laid back feel of it and me not having any anxiety about working or finding something to eat or paying a bill, that anxiety doesn't happen for me. Not that it doesn't happen for other people who are here on an island. I'm not saying that we are immune to that. I'm just saying that I would never go hungry here. If I wake up and I don't have anything to eat in my fridge, I can easily go down the road and I would be able to find food without paying for anything. Not because I'm trying to get over on someone or get something for free, but we just take care of our own. So when I say that I would never have to go hungry and I won't ever have to be without a place to live, those are 2 worries that I'd never have to have. And I don't think I could do that in other places. Actually, I know I can't.
It's a lot harder because you don't have that relationship and community as much as you have in a small town, a small island like that. And, not to say there aren't things that you would like to change, but overall,
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of this, but again, pros and cons, right? And for instance, going to the grocery store, I can't just say, you know what, I want to go and get vegan marshmallows. Let me go and buy those. Not like, mind you, it's not like I eat vegan marshmallows all the time. I'm just saying. I was like, oh, you know what, I want some marshmallows, but I want the vegan ones from Dandy's or whoever it might be. There's 2 or 3 supermarkets that would possibly have vegan marshmallows. And if they decided to order them this week or month or whatever it might be, the likelihood of them having it is slim to none. And let's say you wake up or you woke up in the middle of the night and you're like, you know what, I want to make hot chocolate or I want to make mac and cheese because that's what I feel for. There's no stores that are really open to purchase anything to make those items. There's no Walmart, there's no Walgreens, there's no late night anything to get that. You gotta figure out what you want earlier in the day because by 9-10 o'clock everything's shut down. And so, again, pros and cons. Do you want to purchase the coconut milk whipped cream from Ready Whip for $6.99 in the grocery store? How bad do you want it? That's kind of, you gotta weigh the pros and the cons of it. And for me, I really don't want the whipped cream that much. I just really wanted to try it because I said, wow, it's a non-dairy alternative and whipped cream. I'd love to check it out, but not for $7. I don't even eat whipped cream that much.
It's like, no thanks.
I'm good. I'm good. And that's just part of it. But yeah, in terms of it being an offbeat life, I just know I could wake up and I could go to the beach first thing in the morning. I could work out, go to the beach, come home, get some work done, and I could do it all over again the next day.
With a beautiful scenery. Yeah, exactly. With rum.
With rum too, if I wanted to.
Exactly.
And no one is gonna frown upon you having a drink at 11 o'clock in the morning. Because I always say you can't say you drank all day if you don't start first thing in the morning. So
exactly.
I'm just trying to go along with the rules here.
So, Anquanette, let's talk about, with everything that's happening this year with COVID, how you were able to continue to create income, especially since you had your tour company. How has that been going, and how are you able to kind of maybe supplement it?
One of the biggest things, of course, with COVID, tourism was affected, greatly all across the world. But because we're on an island, tourism is our main stream of revenue. That's our bread and butter. When that goes away, we suffer immensely. Now, when you think of it from the hurricanes that I mentioned earlier, when the hurricanes happened in 2017, the difference then is that it was only impacting our region. And once we knew how much time it would take for us to rebuild and get things the way we need to get it, we know that the flights were still going to be coming in and that would still continue. But with a global pandemic, we don't know when the end is. There's no end in sight. We are now going to be creating a new normal, and life is going to look very different for us all around. So we need to start differentiating our revenue. That's number one. But number two, it's okay, I can't make any money right now because no one's coming in. What do I do now? I can send things out. And I figured that the same way how I realized that we needed to have a product that shared our food with people when they came here, how can I have a product that would share our food with people and send it away? And that's how the Crucian Foodie Goodie Box came to fruition. And it's basically a treat box with 6 different items that are locally made here on St. Croix. And they highlight the best of our food and the things that we're really known for. And that was my pivot. That's been the word for 2020, pivot. And that was my pivot for 2020. The Crucian Foodie brand is separate from Virgin Island Food Tours, but they are, very much intertwined because food is the basis of both of them. And I was able to use my Crucian Foodie brand to really share St. Croix or share the Virgin Islands with people that would either love to come here, they've been here before and they can't get back because of COVID, or largely enough, the large amount of my customers are people who are from here that haven't been able to come home, or they don't have anyone here to send them any of these goodies. And they are buying it like hotcakes.
That is such a great idea, and a really great way for you to think outside of the box and kind of, in a way, capitalize on or turning things around, I will say.
Yeah, and I was able to, bring in other local vendors. And for me, that was the biggest thing. I mean, of course, obviously, at the end of the day, I want to make money. Like, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. My brother always says it. But at the same time, I was able to touch 5 different vendors locally that were impacted, right? Because people aren't coming in as much. You don't have as much people, not even visitors, but even local people, because we're staying home much more than we were. We're cooking at home more than we were before. So our food industry has been impacted with our restaurants. Being able to touch these different vendors and say, hey, I need 80 of whatever that item is. I need 80 fruit tarts. I need 80 pound seasoning. I need 80 pepper sauce bottles. For them, it's like, what? Sure. Absolutely. How much you need? I got it, because they're not making anything as they were before. So for them, every little bit helps. And I was happy to be able to do that.
Yeah. And really, that's a great way for you to be able to make everybody create income even during these times, which is pretty incredible. And you've traveled quite often, you before this, right? Even
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, you're not stuck in that island, obviously. So you get to
No.
travel everywhere, and you've gone to like Europe and North America and all over the world. So when you do that, what kind of travel insurance do you typically use?
I typically use either Alliance or it would be what's it, Travel Guard. That's the other one. Those are the two that I feel are they've been around for quite some time. I've used them before, and thankfully, I've never. When I say use them, I purchased them before, but never had to use them. Thankfully, and I feel that if I did have to use them, they would probably be the ones to be a best help for me during a really trying time.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that a lot from people, and I know some people who are actually stuck in a different country and they couldn't come home, or they got sick because of COVID. And there's like some insurance companies that actually didn't cover them. Can you imagine? That's so heartbreaking. You're already there, unfamiliar place, and then all of a sudden, like, you get sick and then it's not covered. That's why I'm really glad that I am in partnership with Integra Global, because they have a ton of comprehensive plans, and they don't ask their members to build a plan, because how do we know what we'll need? I mean, come on, who knew about COVID, right? So their insurance covers everything, and it's all built in. So if you all want to know more, check out integraglobal.com and see how they can give you the coverage you'll need, and maybe some you never knew you would, like COVID, which is, it's not interesting. It's so scary how it impacted everybody in the world, right? And it was like a blink of an eye. Yeah, like I've never seen any of this like happen, and that's why I'm like, oh God, thank God for companies like Integra, because for a lot of businesses, it's like it's a make it or break it thing, but for them, it's also like we do it because it's the right thing to do. And I've heard
Mhm.
so many horror stories that,
Yeah. Yep. As have I. And I'm always like, I want nothing to do with that. I hope and pray that I never have to use my travel insurance, but it's good to have the peace of mind that they're there when you need them.
yeah,
So never travel
absolutely.
without it. That's for sure. Especially if you're going, well, listen, get something. Do not travel internationally without insurance, because like you said, the last thing you want is to be stuck in a foreign country, in a foreign place, and God forbid you don't even speak their language and trying to get home. Oh man, that would just be so crazy.
It's really scary. But I think too, when I talk to people about travel insurance now, they're like, yeah, because of COVID, I'm definitely
Definitely get
getting insurance. Like, it's not even an option. I'm going to get it. I swear to God, never again. I'm like,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good
Hmm.
idea.
Yep.
So, Anquanette, I love asking this question, and I'm really excited to ask you this. Let's fast forward to 50 years from now, and you're looking back at your life. What legacy would you like to leave, and what do you want to be remembered for?
Legacy. Okay, I think I'll start with the easier. What I want to be remembered for is someone who is an ambassador for the Virgin Islands. Whenever you saw me or see me, I don't know what's going to happen in 50 years if I'll be here or not. But whenever you see me or saw me or had any conversation about me, the first thing that people would mention is how much I loved the Virgin Islands and how much I shared what the Virgin Islands was, what it represented, and why people should want to visit here or live here or have the Virgin Islands be a part of their lives in some way. So I think that would definitely, I want that to be my legacy, is how much I'm connected to these incredible islands. And the other part you said in terms of the legacy that I want to leave behind, is that correct? Did I get that
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm not sure more so about I think for me, because I'm so entwined with food and making sure that the Virgin Islands food culture isn't lost. I think being a person to keep that going would probably be what I want my legacy to be. So that in 50 years, kids that are in school can be doing classes, or they have a course that's about authentic Virgin Island food and how that history ties back to them, regardless of how far removed they might think they are from it, like why it's important for them to keep these traditions alive. I want to figure out how I can keep that going right now in 2020 and beyond, so that the next generation will still have it.
Okay, so this is a question that I'm really interested in what your answer is. Where is your favorite spot to get Crucian food in St. Croix?
Ooh, okay. Well, this one we have to put it in different parts because our food is quite varied in that sense. Meaning, where I'm gonna go get breakfast from is not the same place where I would get lunch because they probably don't. That breakfast place probably doesn't even serve lunch. So it's either you're gonna be asking me like, what's your favorite like dish meat? Like like, am I gonna go with breakfast? Am I going to go with lunch? So I'm just gonna give you a couple parts. So for breakfast, hands down, Martha's Deli. She has been around in that little location, Mid Island, over 20 years. As long as I've been alive, and I'm in my 30s. So she's been around since then, and she was around before that. So probably 40 years. And they have an authentic Crucian breakfast, which has saltfish and cucumbers and pickled cucumbers, chop up, which is spinach and okra, with a Johnny cake and a boiled egg. And that would be a typical Crucian breakfast. They do the best ones on island, in my opinion, and they're always open. They're open 6 days a week. So that's where I would go for my best food in terms of breakfast. For my lunch, dinner, if you will, I think Zenny's might have to be my choice because every time I go there, it's consistent. The food is always great. I love the service, and I'm never disappointed with my food. And she's also one of the stops on my food tour. So it makes sense that I would choose a restaurant as such because clearly their food is the best, whoever I chose on the tour. And I ate there on Wednesday. Like when I tell you I truly eat at all the places that we go to on the tour, I got conch butter sauce with seasoned rice and beans and some plantain. And I still have food left over. Because we serve a lot of food.
That conch butter, oh my God, that's so good.
That's my favorite dish, hands down.
I can't.
I've traveled all over. I've been to Paris, Italy, Spain. I've been to Greece, everywhere in North America.
It's so good.
Every time. I will never choose anything else. If that's like, if I, going to give you
your last meal,
that's it.
Yeah.
Extra butter sauce, please. That's my meal. For sure. Those would be my two places. So Martha's Deli and Zenny's restaurant.
Okay, so when I go back to St. Croix, you got to take me to those two places.
I got you.
Yeah.
I actually met someone this morning because I was getting my car washed, and he's leaving Island tomorrow. He's going to go to St. Thomas, and he was telling me that he hadn't had a good food experiences. I said, what? I said, where have you been going? All of the places but one were all tourist places.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking tourist places. They're there for a reason. They serve a purpose. Because for some people, venturing outside of their comfort zone when it comes to food, because you're hungry and you know what a hamburger tastes like. So you're going to go burger, you're going to go with fries because you know what they taste like and they're not going to disappoint. And that's all the places that we went to. There were all of these typical tourist places that had no local influence.
Yeah.
So I told him to go to Martha's, which I hope he has a great time because I didn't get his information or anything. But I was so confident that I didn't have to say, take my number and let me know how it was. I just knew that he was going to have a great food experience because I literally ate there on Tuesday.
You're like, I know for sure.
I know for sure. And he said, well, are they going to be open? I said, if they're not open, it's because they had a death in the family or something. Yeah. And so I even called and their phone line was busy. I was like, yep, they're open because they're so busy taking phone calls that their line is busy.
Now you're making me hungry. I'm like, oh my gosh.
That always happens when I have conversations with people. Every single time. They were like, I just want to eat something now. All I talk about is food. It's kind of scary.
No, but that's good.
I get my dad. Every time he talks to my dad, he's talking about what he just ate, what he's going to eat, or what he's going like. It's always, that's the conversation every single time. And I think that's part of where I got it from. I'm like, oh, that breakfast was good, but dinner's going to be even better. No,
that's a good thing to talk about. I love talking about food. I'm always like, what's there to eat? Where can we go to eat? My fiance, like Aaron, he's like, okay, we got to eat healthy. And then we have like one day during the weekend where we can eat whatever we want. And I'm like, so Monday hits. I'm like, what are we going to eat?
I'm happy that you brought that up because a lot of times people would say, "Oh wow, you're eating all this food and you're indulging in all these things, and how do you keep it up? Like, how do you stay fit? Blah blah blah." Well, because I know I like to eat, I also like to work out. It
Yeah.
doesn't. I'm not loving it. I'm not like waking up on Monday like, yes, can't wait to go running for 2 miles. Woo! I'm not. That's not the feeling, but it's more of, ooh, those butter cookies later are gonna hit the spot. Let me get these reps in. That
Yeah.
because I know I enjoy eating. I know I have to work out to do it. And also, I don't eat like that all the time. I don't have conch and butter sauce every week.
I wish. No. Okay.
So I don't. I don't. I typically eat fairly healthy. I, read labels. I limit my sugar intake. I don't have too much dairy. But because I know I love pizza, I have minimal dairy so that when I get pizza, I can have all extra cheese, extra fresh mozzarella. Give it to me.
Oh my
God.
God.
What I mean? And
now I'm even more hungry.
Balance is the name of the game. I tell people, don't eat crap every day and drink your water. And if you were to do those two things, you'll be better in line to meet whatever goals you have, or just maintain at the very least.
Now I want everything.
Now you want pizza, you want conch and butter sauce, and you want a Johnny cake. I know, I'm sorry.
Seriously, yes, I want everything right now. I'm like, I can't wait. I'm like, I can't wait until I can have fried chicken and waffles.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I've been craving that. Okay. So we're going to be here all day if we keep talking about food because you know. So, Anquanette, if our listeners want to know more about you, where can they find you?
Of course. So I have my website, so cruisianfoodie.com. Cruisian is spelled like the rum. If you've never heard of the rum, you've missed out on half your life. So I'm going to get you caught up. But Cruisian is spelled with the C-R-U-Z as in zebra, A-N. And the second half of it is foodie, because of course, we've been talking all about food for this entire episode. So food, FOODIE.com. So that's my website. That's where I cover the food culture of the Virgin Islands the Caribbean and beyond. That's really what I cover there on the website. And then of course on social media, Cruisian Foodie, I'm all the same on all platforms. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, those are the three big ones. Instagram, the biggest, because I'm really big on stories. And I've been, just crushing the story game recently. But as of late, I have finally launched my YouTube channel. Finally. And I've been super excited about that because it's basically Instagram stories in a longer format. And I'm having such a ball doing my vlogs and just sharing our food culture. It's an incredible, I'm really loving it. It's really fun. And so they can also find me on YouTube. Same thing, Cruisian Foodie. And that's how you can find me. Those are the five ways you can find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anquanette. And hopefully we can meet each other sooner rather than later and we can eat together.
I'm just saying, go and get a COVID test and you can come here and you can quarantine for 2 days. We'll have you do another test and it'll be a fast one. We won't even have you do a PCR. We'll have you do the rapid test and then you'll be free to just eat all the food and we can do all the things.
And be on the beach. That's
so
nice.
The beach. Yes. I'll send you a picture of the beach. So
great.
You can be like, all right, let me do this. Let me hurry up. And Aaron's going to want to come too. He's like, you're not going without me.
Seriously. Oh my God. Thanks, Anquanette. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this interview with Anquanette. Make sure to visit theoffbeatlife.com. Again, that's theoffbeatlife.com to get the extended interview where she shares how to stay healthy while working from home. Hey listeners, have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Lucky for you, I have created a new site that will help you learn how to launch, grow, and monetize your own show. I offer one-on-one mentorship programs, and I'm launching an ebook, How to Create a Profitable Podcast, that can help you take your podcast from hobby to profitable business. Visit howtocreateapodcast.com to learn more. Again, that's howtocreateapodcast.com. See you there. Hey, listeners, thank you for listening to this episode, and I'm so thankful for your support. I would love to hear your thoughts on this episode and get suggestions on guests, topics we can discuss, and so much more. Feel free to reach out at hello@theoffbeatlife.com and let me know what you'd like to hear. If you like the show, don't forget to give us some love and review on iTunes. Thank you again for being a part of this journey, and I can't wait to hear how your location independent story will unfold.